Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. We're back here on Watch Dogs Legion. I wanted to take a moment to reflect on what has been a pretty good year for me in 2023. I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to reflect on some of the things that they have done throughout the year, so I figured, you know what, why don't I give my share? The first major thing that I did this year was go to a WWE show for the first time ever. For those who don't know, I am indeed a wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 10 years old, but even after all these years, I still never went to a WWE show when I was younger. But that all changed back in March earlier this year. I had an amazing time going to that WWE show. I even got to see a bunch of well-known, iconic wrestlers that are under the WWE umbrella that really made me happy. I got to see the likes of Becky Lynch, Bayley, Lita, Trish Stratus, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, and on top of that, I even got to see John Cena. I never got to experience Trish Stratus and Lita when they were still in their prime. I ended up discovering them when they were at the point in their careers where they were no longer active wrestlers. So to be able to see both of them under the same roof in Boston that night was freaking awesome. I did get the opportunity to see Seth Rollins when I was there, so I did get to sing along to his theme song like the many other fans that attended, while simultaneously booing the absolute hell out of Logan Paul because I honestly think he's a piece of shit. And to top it all off, I got to see one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, that being John Cena. John Cena was one of the first wrestlers that I discovered when I got into wrestling in 2009, but I never ever got the opportunity to see him at a live wrestling show. Especially when I was a kid, like I still never got the chance to see him at a live show. I still remember buying my ticket like way ahead of time for this show, and there were rumors going around that he was probably going to be making an appearance at the TD Garden in Boston for Monday Night Raw, but I wasn't too sure. And then I woke up one afternoon and then I checked on Twitter and found out that, you know, an announcement was made that for the first time in I don't know how long, John Cena was going to be making his return to Monday Night Raw at the TD Garden in Boston, and I was just ecstatic, man. I was so hyped. And being there live, seeing them there, I can already tell the jokes are coming, but being able to see him there live was such an exhilarating experience, and it just made me appreciate him even more. While I do wish it wasn't at the tail end of his pro wrestling career, at the same time, the fact that I was able to get the opportunity to see him regardless was something that I still to this day do not take for granted. And as a bonus, I even got to meet his dad after the show went off air. I was about to leave the TD Garden, and then I noticed that John Cena's dad was still in the crowd, meeting with some fans, getting some pictures with them and such. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity. I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna try to get a picture with him. And luckily, I did. It was the closest that I would ever get to meeting the actual athlete himself. So it was a really cool experience to be able to meet Cena's dad. Because from my experience, he was a pretty cool dude, even though there were a good amount of fans like crowding him, just trying to get a picture with him, all that kind of stuff, which I would assume in a way kind of made him feel uncomfortable, but even then he was still cool about it, and he was open to taking pictures and recording videos with those that he got to meet. But that night was a night that I will cherish for as long as I live. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm honestly so glad I took advantage of the opportunity while it was still there. If you are one of the people that did end up going to that Monday Night Raw show in Boston, let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you personally thought about the show. Another thing that I was able to accomplish this year was being able to get my first gaming PC. Prior to getting a computer, I had not used like a full-blown computer. I hadn't had one in my home since like early 2013, so it's been like about a decade since I last had a computer in my home. But after like a decade, I was able to finally put together the funds to afford my first computer, especially one that I can use for my personal needs. Don't go there. For a few years now, I've been wanting to get a computer, especially since I've had a few people suggest to me that I should get into content creating, but I always felt that, you know, without a computer, I'm not able to really achieve what I wanted to do in terms of the content that I wanted to create. So I was able to finally put together the funds needed to afford a gaming computer, and after all the hard work that I did from working on my full-time job, I was eventually able to afford the computer that I got. I've had my computer for 7 months now, and so far it has been worth every penny that I spent. I would even go as far as to say that it's one of the best things that I've ever invested in. I do intend on getting a better computer eventually, just so I could, you know, keep up with the technology that has released nowadays. But for now, my computer is still getting the job done. It's still able to do what I need it to do. And as a result, I've been able to make the content that I've wanted to make with the computer that I have. Another moment that ended up happening in 2023 that I was not expecting at all was that I was able to reconnect with my best friend from middle school, who I had not seen in like 4 years. I still remember I was like walking home from work one night, a car like pulled into the parking lot, and a guy stepped out of the vehicle, and I wasn't sure who it was until I heard them say my name, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then I looked closely, and lo and behold, it was my best friend from middle school. I'm not sure if he's gonna end up watching this video, but if you do, I miss you, bro. I really miss you. Surprisingly, he wasn't the only person I ended up reconnecting with after like a couple of years. It wasn't until late June of this year where I was also able to reconnect with 2 of my closest friends from high school as well. I had not hung out with them in almost 5 years, I would say, so being able to hang out with them once again was a really cool experience. We had a lot of fun doing what we did, catching up like the good old days and such. For me personally, I had a good time chilling with them, reconnecting with them again, even if they probably don't feel the same way. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on them by any means. I just can't help but have like some sense of doubt in my mind. But they definitely were another group of people who I did end up missing a lot, so being able to see them again and hang out with them like the good old days, it was really fun. I had a great time nonetheless. Another major thing that I ended up doing in 2023 was going back to another wrestling show. This time it was an AEW show, as I hadn't gone to an AEW show since last November, so it did feel good to be able to go back to a wrestling show like that, especially since for me personally, I just find AEW shows to be more entertaining than WWE, but hey, everybody has their own opinion. It wasn't just an ordinary AEW show, it was more so of a pay-per-view themed AEW show, where I got to see War Games for the first time ever. For anybody who doesn't know what War Games is, it's basically like a steel cage type of match where there are 2 rings and they're both covered by 2 cages in one. Both WWE and AEW, they have their version of War Games, so for my first experience, I was able to see AEW's version of War Games, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, I had a blast watching what I saw on that show. Like, I had already knew beforehand that I was gonna go to the show regardless, but what I didn't think would happen was that AEW was going to be putting together a War Games type of match at that show. As soon as I found out about it, I was just in shock of what I was going to get to experience for the first time ever. I got to see some of my favorite AEW wrestlers there, from the likes of Adam Cole to MJF to the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, hell, even Kota Ibushi, who at the time was well known for his time in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I got to see him team up with Kenny Omega to form the Golden Lovers, I think that's what their tag team name is called, the Golden Lovers. I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me in the comment section. But the fact that I was able to see all of them just do their thing in an environment like War Games, just wow. Just wow. That's honestly like my most favorite thing about going to a wrestling show is that you never know exactly what you're going to be in store for as you get closer to the date that the show is going to be happening. It's things like that that make me appreciate wrestling so much more. No cap. If you're also one of the people that ended up attending that AEW show back in July, let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you personally thought of what you saw that night. One of the best things that I can confidently say that I was able to accomplish in 2023 was start a YouTube channel. For a long time, like I had a few of my friends and acquaintances suggest to me that I should really get into making YouTube videos, especially since they were aware that I have a big tendency to post content on other socials. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot and I'm gonna see how this goes. And so far, it's been going pretty well. Like I didn't think it would take off as well as it has so far, but all in all, like I've really been enjoying the experience of being a content creator. I ended up making a video where I reflected on 3 months as a YouTuber. You guys can go and check that video out. I gave like a more in-depth analysis of the things that I have learned, but also some of the challenges that I've had to take on from being a YouTuber. Without rambling on for too long, what I will say is this: being a YouTuber has become so fulfilling in such a way that it really feels like I'm actually doing something with my life. Like I'm actually accomplishing something in my life. Whenever I go into recording and editing a video for it to be uploaded to the channel, once it's all said and done, I genuinely feel as if I finally accomplished something in my day. I genuinely do. And so far, it's been very rewarding from the feedback that you guys have given and just the amount of people who have been checking out the content. It's been very rewarding, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you have given me on the content. I know I don't say it much, but I do want you guys to know that like your support to the content that I've been uploading to the channel, it has meant so much to me, and it has encouraged me to keep doing this more often. As much as I would like to talk about it more, I do want to save that for a future video. But that's pretty all I wanted to talk about in this video. Pretty much I've reconnected with some old friends, got to go to more wrestling shows, and I got to start a YouTube channel. Being able to do those things this year has been really amazing, and it has resulted in this year being pretty good to me. Even though there have been some L's that I have taken throughout the year, at the same time, I try to reflect on it to really think about what I could have done differently. But I want to know from you guys, what are some of the things that you were able to accomplish in 2023? Whether if it was a minor one or it was a major one. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys have to say. I want to thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like on it. And if you enjoy this type of content, you are more than welcome to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you can be notified of when my newest video has gone live. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. It's been your boy Discreet, and I'll catch you in the next video.